Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Sherman Read. Today I'll be doing the 25 books I want to read in 2025. I am honestly shocked that the year is almost over and 2025 is almost here. Like, that is insane to me. That being said, I do have a lot of books I still need to read to wrap up 2024, but I'm already starting to look and plan for my books in the future. So I have 25 books here that I want to read. After I tell you guys which ones I want to read, I plan to put them all in this TBR jar that I have, along with other books that I want to do in more videos like this. I have a series I want to read and things like that. So I'm gonna combine all the books that I plan to read and put them in here. So when I do my TBRs throughout the year, I can just go through this and actually try to divvy it up a little bit better, because 25 books in a year is not crazy for me, but for some reason I always struggle at the end to finish all the books. I somehow still have 5 or 6 books I want to read from that old video, and I'm like, how have I not managed as well? So I'm hoping that this remedies it, like, fingers crossed. Anyways, before I get started, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And if you're new, hi, hello, I'm Stephanie, and I do love bookish content. But let's get right into all the 25 books I want to read in 2025. By the way, this is not in any particular order. This is books that I was just like going through my shelves, looking at different lists and being like, these are the books I really want to prioritize for next year. Some of these are backlisted, some of them are more recent, kind of all in between, different genres as well. I want to make sure I give myself a variety, because if I give myself all fantasy, I know I will fail, because fantasy just takes a lot out of me these days. It just takes longer for me to read versus other books. So I have a variety. Let's get into them. The first book I have around here is an omnibus. So in a way, it kind of like cheats the system, because it's technically 5 books, but I'm counting as one because it's coming in one book, and that is the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. This is the omnibus. It has books 1 through 5 over here. I just saw this on TikTok and people were raving about it, so I was curious, and I thought it was like, I don't know, I've been in like a romancy mood these days. Like, a lot of books I read this year are romances. So it says, monsters come in many forms. They took too much, left too little. I had nothing to lose until him. I didn't expect him. I didn't want to fall in love, but I can't let him go. We'll see, guys. I've heard really good things about the series, so I'm excited. Next book on here is All's Well by Mona Awad. This is a book that came out a hot minute ago, but I just been really eyeing this book since then. It says it's a novel about a theater professor who is convinced staging Shakespeare's most aligned play will remedy all that ails her, but at what cost? Very curious. Next I have Of Jade and Dragons by Amber Chen. This is from my Illumicrate edition. This edition is stunning. Just look at the inside. Gorgeous. So I'm very excited about this one, mainly because of the cover. But it says, 18-year-old Ai Hui-ying dreams of becoming a world-class engineer like her father, but after his unexpected murder, a heartbroken Ying is determined to discover why anyone would threaten a man who ultimately chose a quiet life over fame and fortune. Left with only a journal of her father's engineering secrets and a jade pendant snatched from the assassin, Ying follows the trails to the capital and the prestigious Engineers Guild, a place that harbors her father's hidden past. Disguised as her brother, Ying manages to infiltrate the male-only apprenticeship trial with the help of an unlikely ally, Aogia Yao Yang, the nation's taciturn 8th prince. I already smell a romance there. She needs to stay one step ahead of her fellow competitors, the jealous guildmasters, and the killer still hunting her for her father's journal. Lots of secrets being revealed in this book. I'm very excited for this one. Next book I have on here is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Obviously, Brandon Sanderson, I don't need to really tell you guys too much about it, but I've actually heard really good things. Like, when he did his announcement for all his secret novels, I feel like this one was the one that was most discussed and raved about. So now this has shot up to my list in terms of books I want to read next from this author. But yeah, I love the random illustrations in here. Like, look at this. And there's like quite a few in here as well, so very excited. I also have The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. This book has been on my TBR for such a hot minute. I swear I have mentioned this book in multiple TBRs, but I still have yet to read it. So hopefully this year's the year. It's about a woman, her name is Lore, where when she was 13 years old, she escaped a cult in the catacombs beneath the city of Delaire. And in 10 years since, she's lived by one rule: don't let them find you. Easier said than done when her magic ties her to the city. Mortem is a magic born from death and is a high-priced and illicit commodity in Del Air. She has made a living running poisons for the city's underbelly, but when a run goes wrong, she's captured by the king and expects to be sent to the pyre, but the king has different plans. Now she's thrust into the sainted king's glittering court where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted. Now there's like forbidden romance, religion, politics. I am all in for this. The next book I have over here is A Ruinous Fate by Kaylee Smith. I got this a while ago from, I swear, like one of my book cons I went to or something. And it says, fate does not choose the weak, fate chooses the ready. And it's about a woman, her name is Calliope Rosewood, where she is a witch with a long streak of bad luck. Like all witches in Illustras, her fate is directly tied to witch's dice, a powerful artifact that have blessed her kind with limitless magic, but also sets them on a path towards destruction. She has only 3 rolls away from becoming the last blood warrior and sharing the fates' war that would decimate her people and eradicate their magic. So she's desperate to do whatever it takes to reset her fate. This sounds so good. Another one I have over here is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. I love Marissa book. I believe it follows like Snow White or something. Oh, never mind. It's Rumpelstiltskin. And it's a haunting retelling of it. I also have The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is another one that has been on my list for so long. I bought this in New York like 5 years ago and it's still sitting on my shelf. So I need to get to reading. It is book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard sequence. It says the Thorn of Kamar is said to be an unbeatable swordsman, a master thief, a friend to the poor, a ghost that walks through walls. Slightly built and barely competent with a sword, Locke Lamora is the fabled Thorn. And while he does indeed steal from the rich, the poor never sees a penny. All his gains are strictly for himself and his tight-knit band of thieves, the Gentleman Bastards. But now a clandestine war is threatening to tear it apart, and he is somehow caught up in the murderous game. I've heard really good things about this book in general, but it is kind of a denser read, so we'll see. Now I have a very cute light read, and that is Bingsu for Two by Sujin Witherspoon. This one I got from ALA like last year or earlier this year. My friend already read it and she said she really liked it, so I have very high hopes. It's very cute and it's an enemies to lovers coffee shop romance. Next, I also have Watermoon, which actually doesn't come out yet. It comes out in January 21st, 2025. But my friend also read this and really enjoyed it, the one who went with me for ALA. And since then, it's been high on my list, so we'll see how this goes. It follows a pawn shop of almost and ifs, where it says, if you've ever made a choice that you regretted, come to this magical pawn shop where you can sell your regrets. Then you can find inner peace with the price of a cup of tea. But who are you without the memory of who you once were? Very interesting. Next on here is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I know everyone has read this book already. I have not. So I still need to read this book. It's on my list, clearly. And I've heard great things. I also have the second book over here. I actually bought the second book, but then I didn't realize it was a second book, so then I had to go back and buy the first one. So anyways, I am really excited. I've heard just amazing things and just raves about this book, so we'll see how this goes. The next book I want to read is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. This is a continuation of the original series, Darker Shade of Magic. I loved, but I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Like, I'm like neutral high. I did a whole vlog on it a while ago. I'll link that above and down below. It's like been many years, but this is a continuation of it. I think it's set like 20 years in the future or something like that. Oh, 7 years in the future. But it follows new characters. So I'm very curious to see how this continues and if we get more. I think we do see like Lila or something in this book. At least that's what I've heard, but cannot confirm. Another book I want to read is Dragon Fruit by Michaela Lucier. This one, okay, first of all, this cover is so colorful. I just came back from Hawaii and this book reminds me of Hawaii. Like, it literally gives you vibes of Hawaii. And it says, in the old tales, it is written that the egg of a sea dragon, dragon fruit, holds within it the power to undo a person's greatest sorrow. But as with all things that offer hope, when hope has gone, the tale comes with a warning. Each wish demands a price. The next book I also got from ALA, and that is A Stardust Grail by Yume Kitase. This is a sci-fi book, and I've heard good things so far. Also, I love the cover. It says, save one world, doom her own. And it follows Maya Hoshimoto, who was once the best thief in the galaxy. For 10 years, she returned stolen artifacts to alien civilizations until a disastrous job forced her into hiding. But now, an old friend comes to her with a job she can't refuse. So she's set on this like quest through a universe teeming with strange life and ancient ruins, and some will betray her along the way. I love a good sci-fi book, so very excited for this one. All right, the next couple books I have on here are books I don't currently have, but I've heard really good things in general, so it's on my list as well. The first one is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. I just know this is a fantasy. I want to say it's a fantasy romance, but I'm not entirely sure. But I love the cover and I've heard good things. Next one on here is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clearwer. This was the runner-up to 2024's Goodreads Best Horror Book. And when I saw the synopsis, it sounded really good. It's about this couple who moves into a new house, and this family approaches them and is like, hey, we used to live here, do you mind if we take a look around? And she's like, of course, why not? And they go in, but then things start to happen. It's like really weird, and then her partner ends up missing, and she's like, what the fuck is happening? And this family does not leave, and so things are weird. I heard it's being adapted to a movie as well, so I'm pretty excited about that one. The next book on here is The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. This is not one that I've heard too much about. However, I really like Catherine Arden's book, The Winter Night Trilogy, so I have very high hopes for this one. I also want to read A Song to Drown Rivers by Anne Liang. The cover is stunning. Another book I want to read is Five Broken Blades by Mai Corland. This book is, oh my god. I have the Goldsboro edition, so it is stunning. And it says, let the best liar win. And it's about the 5 most dangerous liars in the world, where they have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the god king June. So we'll see. I've heard really good things and it sounds really good. Next one I want to read is Feybound by Sarah El Arifi. This cover is so pretty. And I want to say this is also from Goldsboro. So gorgeous edition. It says, Euron was born on the battlefield, lived on the battlefield, and one day she knew she would die on the battlefield. She is a warrior in the Elven army and has known nothing but violence her whole life. Her sister is trying to make a living as a diviner, seeking prophecies of a better future. When a fatal mistake leads Euron's exile from the Elven lands, both sisters are now forced into the terrifying wilderness beyond their borders, where they encounter the impossible, the Fey Court. The Fae hasn't been seen in over a millennium, and now they're thrust into their destructive world. Fae and elves, I am so here for this. The next book on here is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the Fairy Loot edition half, so it's very different than the cover that you see. It's like a completely revamped version, so this edition is stunning. The sides as well, the back. And it says, born in fire, chosen by the gods, it was foretold she would unite a nation, but unfated weave their own destiny, even if what they want is forbidden, and she wants him. This is one that I've heard a lot on, like on social media, so I have very high hopes for. The next 2 ones are also ones I don't have, but I've heard really good things, and that is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've heard so many good things about this book, like it's insane, so obviously I want to read it. I also have Quicksilver by Kaylee Hart on here, another one that have heard great things, so very excited. Next book on here is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I love Ali Hazelwood's book. This one's about vampires, so I'm kind of like, she's going past her comfort of romance and going to like supernatural romance, so I'm curious to see how it is. I've loved her books, so I still have pretty high hopes for it. The last and final book on here is a thriller, and that is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. Lucy Foley books tend to be a hit or miss for me. That being said though, I still want to read them because I feel like when they are a hit, they are so good, though when they are misses, they are not the greatest. So here's hoping that this one is a really good read. But yeah, these are all the 25 books I want to read in this year. I'm really hoping that these will be amazing because some of these I have very high hopes for, and some of these I just want to be in the know. Like I just want to know what the hype is about and see if it is worth the hype or if it's overhyped. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books before, and if you have, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that based on my reading history and experience thus far, like would I like the book, or will you be like, Stephanie, I don't think you'll like it based on what you've liked in the past and what you've hated? I'm very curious. So anyway, that's to say for this video. As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help out my channel. And if you see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!